in the wilds of deepest, darkest Derbyshire. Here we are at the Lea Bridge car park, and we're just about to go out this way on a little wander around Lea Bridge, and we're going up onto the path up here. Oh, just like that breeze doesn't cause wind gusting over the mic. And bearing out onto the road this way. But we could actually go that way, but we'll be coming back over that bridge later. But heading out this way and on to the main road. Just come up this bit from the car park, and now we go down here. So we get here. Look. And as you can see, a little path there, and that's the route we're taking. This is a nice little roundabout walk. You can sometimes see fish in there. Anyway, let's continue on. Now, this path is a little bit of an ascent, but when we get to the top, we're going to be on the Nightingale arm of the Cromford Canal. Though it doesn't even look like a canal, but I'll show you when we get there. That narrow trench we're looking at is the Nightingale arm of the Cromford Canal, which is to pass that wall and carry on up to a wharf up at Lea Bridge. But we're not going that way, we're going this way. See, there's still water in it. Not much. And notice how narrow it is. The boats on the Cromford Canal above Butterley Tunnel were not the standard barges you'd think of, but much smaller boats. Now we're going to carry on along the arm down here. Now, see the wharf here, and just there, like a metal hoop set in the ground around the central dark area, that was a crane to offload the barges. So we're now going to head off down there. Now we're leaving the wharf area and heading off to follow the line of the canal. Now, here's a little bit of interest. Now this post, see these marks? Where the ropes on the narrowboats, well, they're not quite the size of narrowboats, have left their mark of posterity on this stone. And away we go. That's the meadow. Beyond that you can see the River Derwent, and we'll be crossing that later. But we'll show you the crossing before we do go over it. We carry on down this part of the Nightingale arm. As you can see, it's a little bit overgrown, only a bit. It thins out a bit further on, as you'll see. And there you go, the wilds of Derbyshire. Beautiful. Now you might notice a chimney stack over there in the trees. We'll tell you a little bit more about that when we get there. Now this video is not me huffing and puffing all the way around, you know, showing you everything. We'll show you enough. It's a great little walk. It's a circular walk, but the amount of history that you'll see is quite amazing, especially if you're into canals, even if they are a bit dried up. But when it joins with the Cromford Canal, that thankfully is in water. One thing about these particular paths, they can be a little bit uneven. So we'll carry on further down. Yes, you can hear the sound of motorbikes passing on the A6, which is nearby. It's quite surprising that some of the things you can see on this walk are visible from the A6 on your way to Matlock. Now you can see the canal bed there, and down there the Derwent and the rail crossing. I've just seen a train going across and I missed it, so sorry about that. There's a multiple unit thing. We're coming up on where what would have been years ago a what do you call it, an aqueduct across, that carried this arm across the railway line, but as you'll see it's long since gone, and the line that goes as far as Matlock has been singled. So here we go. Now we are actually where the trough was, as you can see. There's the tunnel, and there's the Derwent and the railway line. And as we carry on, we can see the arm here is actually in water. Now we're approaching the junction of the Nightingale arm of the Cromford Canal with the Cromford Canal, and something of a major restoration project that's been taking place, but more of that in a minute. Through the trees you might be able to make out the Wigwell Aqueduct, which is a fine, beautiful thing. Unfortunately you can't get to see it like you used to be able to. Probably make the arch out of the aqueduct. There is a path down there, but I'm too old to. I'll never get back up again if I got down there. So I'm afraid it's about the best I can do today. But might be able to see it a little better. Oh yeah. See the trees there. Lovely. As it carries the Cromford Canal over the River Derwent. And here, it's like a pigsty, isn't it? That's probably because it was. Is one of the wonders down here, Aquaduct Cottage. Currently undergoing restoration from the derelict it was to what is looking like a very beautiful little building. Idyllic. You just want to live there. If you look back at photos of this, even 10 years ago, it was just a derelict shell. Overgrown, no roof. Now it looks absolutely amazing. Inside the cottage, little swing bridge, which is our way of crossing the Cromford Canal, looking over the aqueduct. So we've just come out of there. That's where the arm of the Cromford Canal starts, Nightingale arm. There's Aquaduct Cottage, looking absolutely fantastic. It's hard to believe what a ruin that was 10 years ago. No roof on it, nothing. You could walk in it, there's old bed frames in it. About half a ton of muck on the floor, you couldn't see the tiles on the floor. But it's been lovingly restored and looks absolutely brilliant. Looks like you could live there. Now we can either go that way, or we can go the way we're going, which is that way, and across the Wigwell Aqueduct. So we're heading across the aqueduct. That's the swing bridge we've just come across, and so we'll wander down here. How narrow the canal is here. Again, they only had smaller boats on this. They didn't have like normal sized narrow boats. It's quite a laugh when it freezes over as well. As you see, it's a bit choked with weed at the moment, and has been for quite a few years. And I think we're over the River Derwent, so we'll just have a peek over. And yep, and there's the river. One of the sources of power for the Industrial Revolution. As it powered many of the mills further upstream, and probably a few more down. So now we've crossed the Wigwell Aqueduct, and we come to where that big chimney is, and here it is. As you see, there's no smoke belching out of it today, but that doesn't mean to say it's not still used. There are various times through the season that here at the Cromford Canal, the Lea Wood pump house is run, and it still does the job it did back in the day, which is to fill the Cromford Canal with water. So now we leave the Lea Wood pump house and we're coming this side of the Cromford Canal, and we're going to head off down here, which is, believe it or not, a railway bed. You can probably see down there, height gauge spanning the track. One last look back across what is the winding hole where across the turn the tour boat round, Birdswood, but it would have been used for turning other boats round, I should imagine. Back in the day, leaving the Lea Wood pump and carrying on down the rail beds of the Cromford and High Peak rail. Those workshops we're actually heading for. Can't you always tell railway architecture? It was a dead giveaway. And here is the wharf shed. It was actually used as a warehouse and area of transshipment from train to water, and then to be carried off down the Cromford Canal. Hard to believe there's a railway line there at one point. It's been gone since about the 60s, I think. And we're moving now onto this area. Now, one thing to note on some of these blocks, if I can find one or two, notice they've got holes in the middle, or dark patches, because these were original railway sleepers before they started using big chunky boards. And there is a crane to take goods, well, what's left of a crane, to ship goods from the railway onto barges. Engine must not enter the engine, this warehouse. Can't now because they took the tracks up. Oh well. So the train, as you can see, it certainly looks a bit different today. So here we are, going to where the workshops are, and you can see the swing bridge that's recently been renewed. The building is the workshops for the Cromford and High Peak Rail. On the back of the workshops, guards vans, which of course you can go in. And here is the bottom of one of the inclines, which, believe you me, is a hell of an knackering walk to go up. Very steep, but worth it when you get to the top. There's a derelict old engine house at the top, but we're not doing that today. As you can see, the track bed is very steep there. So, quick look at the workshops, which obviously we can't go fully into today. As you can see, some of the rails there, the old fish-bellied rails. Which are, in fact, some of the oldest rails still in situ in the country. Oh wow, loving this old picture. Look at that. It's where we are. High Peak Workshops, and the rail's still in situ there. Amazing. Obviously blacksmiths. Lovely. This is probably the sort of cable they would have used on the inclines. and to attach a train and wagons to it. Guiding the cable down the inclines would have been a series of pulleys in sockets like this, and there's one of the pulleys. You can see here some rail blocks will be used near the transshipment warehouse. And the old rails joined to it, and that is what the hole's for. That's the HPR, Cromford and High Peak Railway Company. There's the model of the workshops we're actually in. And that's what it would have looked like. Because soon we're going to be going across that swing bridge to head back to the car park. Workshops, High Peak Junction, across Cromford Canal, on the newly refurbished swing bridge. That's why it looks so new. And head off over the railway, the swing bridge, across the Cromford Canal. Plenty of walks around here. I like this shot. It's now time to head back for the car park. I won't show you the sewage works. As you see, it narrows down here a bit because we're going to be going across the River Derwent again, but this time on this bridge. So we go across the River Derwent. It doesn't look too bad today. Probably getting a bit of wind gusting on the mic here, which is unfortunate. Now, finished crossing the river and around here. And this is the path we went out on. It's also the path we come back on. And here we are, back at the car park. And the walk we've done today is a nice little circular route. And if you look here, right, here's the car park where we are. I walked off around the road, through and up onto the Nightingale arm of the Cromford Canal, followed it round over the railway to Aquaduct Cottage, crossing on the little swing bridge just here, and then followed it all the way back along what was the rail beds to the workshops of the Cromford and High Peak Rail. Had a quick look in there, and then we'll come back across the Derwent, and here we are back at the car park. And that's it. It's only a little walk. It's a nice one though, and full of history. Hope you enjoyed it.